Howdy folks, I'm Brian and here's some advice. I just want to thank you all for watching these videos. I really appreciate it. I hope you're having so far a safe and fun summer, and I hope that you're getting out and enjoying the weather safely. But for now, sit back, grab your favorite beverage of choice, and here's some advice. Our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Shredding My Fiancé's Prom Picture? And this is from Throwaway Prom Shred. So my fiancé's kept a box over the years of memories and stuff that she has. She's been collecting memories in it since she was like 10. Cute, I guess. Seems more like hoarding to me, but if she likes it, I like it. She's told me it's very private and I'm not allowed to go through it unless she wants me to. I've probably only seen it like 3 times ever. However, I came upstairs a couple days ago and she was on the floor looking through it. She hears me come in and she turns around and gets all excited, and she tells me to look, showing me a picture she's forgotten existed. It's her at her prom when she was 15. She's in a pale yellow dress and she's cuddled up against some guy in a blue suit, with his tie matching her dress. They are both beaming in the picture, and it's got a banner over the top saying Prom 2007. She rubs the picture fondly like it's some dead relative and says something about how much she loves it. I thought it was pretty rude because I'm standing there and she's telling me about how much she loved going on a date with another guy. I told her that it kind of hurt my feelings and she laughs and says, I love the picture, not the guy in it. I said I don't like hearing her talk about her ex, and she goes, I was 15. The relationship barely counted. He was a nice guy and it was a nice event. That's all it was. I got tired of hearing her talk about happy times with someone else, so I left the room. She didn't really get why I was upset, but she dropped it and I guess it was over. She went out the other day, not breaching lockdown, and I came across the box again in our cupboard. I figured she didn't really need the old memories anymore, so I took out the prom picture and I ran it through our shredder. No big deal. She comes back home and comes into the room and immediately asks me why the shredder is plugged in, seeing as how we barely use it. I told her I was just tossing away some old junk that we didn't need. She asks me what exactly I tossed away, and I told her some old pictures and stuff. So she opens the shredder and starts taking out strands of the picture. She turns to me and yells, Did you shred my prom picture? And so she runs over to the cupboard and starts digging through the box and throws the whole thing on the floor when she finds it's gone. And she's all teary now and she's yelling at me and asks me why I did it and saying that the guy didn't really mean anything to her anymore. If he didn't mean anything to her, she doesn't need reminders of him. She's tidied up the mess she's made and now she's gone and put a lock on the box and called me impossibly selfish. She's been refusing to cook for me now and do stuff, telling me that she'll take me seriously when I apologize for what I've done. Okay, sure, I shouldn't have gone through her box, but I didn't do anything. She's basically just kept junk around for nothing. I did her a favor. So seeing as how it's such a big deal now, am I the jerk? Update. So now we're not getting married. Hope you're all happy. I'm not and never was abusive. Leave me alone and stop DMing me. Your humble overlord replied, You're the jerk. Holy cow, so much. It's been 13 years. She doesn't really care about him. She's marrying you and was fond of a memory from when she was a kid and you shredded it. You took something you knew she liked and destroyed it. What's wrong with you? Evie replies, I don't think she will still marry him. Good for her. Blue Carnations replies, The International Space Station can see how big of a jerk you are. Hope she sees and heeds the red flags. Common Wise replies, You're the jerk, and if I knew your girlfriend, I'd tell her to move out. What would you do if she destroyed your property? Your behavior is predictive of mental and physical abuse. Get help. Princess Frosty replies, You're the jerk. Also some kind of a joke, because I can't stop laughing that you are so jealous of a 15-year-old kid in a picture that you shredded it. Hi OP, I'm gonna say you're a jerk here. You don't destroy other people's property without their permission. She had a tiny little box and you claimed that she was hoarding. This isn't hoarding, that's keeping a small box of memories. She likes seeing the picture of herself as a child, and pictures can bring back memories of a happy time. Maybe she just liked how she looked or enjoyed the aesthetic. No matter what her reason for liking the picture, you had no right to do what you did. As for her breaking things off with you, what did you expect her to do? Did you think that she was going to be like, oh, you're right, it was just old junk, and then move on? What if she shredded something that was important to you? It sounds like you became jealous of her fawning over a picture of a happier time. I think you're using the excuse of her hoarding to rationalize your behavior. You want to believe that you did her a favor because you don't want to accept your feelings. I think you need to take some time and do some self-reflection. Why did her looking over that picture make you feel jealous? What about her being happy before you knew her makes you uncomfortable? OP, I think it would be healthy for you to sit down and talk about these things with someone. Perhaps perhaps professionally. It sounds like you have a lot of baggage, and there's probably more here than what we are seeing. This wasn't a healthy or rational thing to do. Maybe you reacted this way because you're stressed out and from the isolation of what's happening in the world right now. But whatever the root cause, you need to get yourself figured out. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Asking My Boyfriend to Stop Wearing Suits Outside of Work? And this is from Boyfriend Daughter Trouble. I know this sounds weird, but here it goes. I, a 47-year-old female, have been dating my boyfriend, who's a 52-year-old male, for 2 years. We met in a grief counseling group after losing our spouses. Everything in this relationship has been great. Our kids get along great. I even got a Mother's Day card from his son thanking me for making his dad smile again. It was sweet. My daughter, a 19-year-old female, adores my boyfriend. I was surprised at how fast they hit it off because she was very shy, but I didn't want to question it, so I let it go. But as time went on, things got weird. On Valentine's Day, he got me a bouquet and a rose for her, and she still has it hanging in her room. She gets up early every morning to make him a latte, and every night when he gets home, she's been waiting in the kitchen with beer and a sandwich for him. He has back problems, so she bought him a computer chair with massage rollers in it, which makes me mad because I'm a masseuse. I can take care of this man's back just fine. I refuse to be replaced by a chair. I asked my daughter why she keeps doing this stuff, and she just says she likes him. I asked why to see if I could get more info, and she started listing things. He's nice, smart, funny, blah blah blah. But what stuck out with me was when she said she loves the way he dresses. My boyfriend is a funeral director, so he always wears black suits. When I first started dating him, my daughter would always call him the sharp-dressed man, saying things like, "Are you gonna go see that sharp-dressed man again?" Or, "When do I get to meet your new sharp-dressed man, Mom?" My daughter has always said she wants to marry a man in a suit, so I assumed that was her way of showing approval. But now I'm starting to wonder if there's more. I've been wanting to suggest that he stop wearing suits outside of work, but he loves his suits. We just bought a house together, and I know he's been looking at rings. This man is a chess champion who speaks 6 languages, yet he doesn't know how to close his laptop when he's going to the bathroom. So I'm invested in this relationship. I love this man and I want to marry him, but I'm afraid if I tell him what's on my mind, he'll kick my daughter out. This all came to a head last night when we were watching a movie, and she went up to get drinks. When she comes back, she hands my boyfriend a beer and then tries to sit on his lap. I say tried because my boyfriend pushed her off and angrily told her that what she did was inappropriate. He stormed up to our bedroom, and I followed him to talk to him. He started saying that my daughter should start looking elsewhere to stay, but I told him about the suit thing, and maybe that if he just wore normal clothes outside of work, she wouldn't act so weird. He told me I was being ridiculous, and we went to bed. I made him breakfast this morning, but he left to go eat instead. He says he's in McDonald's parking lot now, and we're going to have a serious talk when he gets home, and I don't know what to think. Am I a jerk? Update on our conversation. Well, it turns out some of you were right, and there was a lot of stuff that I didn't know about. My boyfriend showed me several disturbing text messages, no actual propositioning or anything, just weird stuff like, "I miss you," and "Are you awake?" at 2 a.m. and etc. And apparently my daughter had confided in him about a close friendship she had with her basketball coach right after her dad died. My boyfriend said he kept it a secret because she begged him not to tell me, and he didn't want to break her trust. I, of course, was incredibly hurt to hear this, but at the same time, I understand why he didn't tell me. Apparently, he is the only person she has ever talked to about this. It turns out my daughter has basically been treating my boyfriend like a private therapist for the past several months, and he didn't want to tell me because he wanted to help her. He chalked up all the favors to her just showing gratitude for lending an ear, and didn't realize how it might have felt differently before last night. He apologized for insisting on kicking her out, and I apologized for the stupid comments about his suits. It was a comment I made out of being in denial, and now I realize that she needs therapy. When I first started grief counseling, I did ask my kids if they wanted counseling. They both said no, and I didn't want to force it on them. When I sat my daughter down to talk about the boundary issue, she burst into tears and started apologizing. I had an extremely uncomfortable but necessary conversation with her, and I told her that I'm going to start start looking for a therapist. I didn't tell her that I knew about the basketball coach because I didn't want her to feel betrayed, and I'm hoping a professional will be able to get it out of her in a more sensitive and controlled manner. But so help me God, if that MF ever shows his face in my hometown again, and she asks why I'm in jail, I guess I'll have to tell her about it then. But for now, her healing from the past is my main priority, because it really does seem like her dad messed her up more than I thought. My boyfriend and I have made up, and no one is getting kicked out, but things are still pretty awkward. She's basically quarantined herself in the basement. For now, we all just need some space, and my boyfriend has already helped me find some good therapists in our area. Bubblegum replies, "You're the jerk. You sound like one of those people that say that it's the way the person dressed was the reason why they were assaulted. It's your daughter's fault, not his clothes." Jenny Any Dot replies, "Yes, imagine if the roles were reversed. If the boyfriend's son was coming onto OP and insisted of talking to the son about it, boyfriend suggests that OP changes the way she dresses. You're the jerk, OP, and you need to have a long talk with your daughter about what's appropriate behavior. But also, you may want to look into counseling for her. Perhaps some of this stems from the loss of her dad." Sem Crucible replies, "Completely agree. Also, it seems OP's boyfriend's angry response implies that he knows exactly what's going on and feels uncomfortable." Miss Princeps replies, "You're the jerk. Your daughter is being really inappropriate, crossing the line into creepy with him. And instead of handling her, you're blaming her behavior on his clothing. You need to sit down and have an extremely firm talk about consent and boundaries, and let him wear whatever he wants." Plain Domer replies, "You're the jerk, and your daughter is too. She assaulted him in his own home, and you're literally blaming it on the clothes he was wearing. Holy cow, you're the jerk." Hi OP, as you found out, the clothes weren't the problem here. There were broader issues at play. I'm glad that you were able to get things worked out, and best of luck to you and your family. I hope that you're all able to grow closer and stronger as a family from this. Take care and good luck. Our final letter is titled, "Am I a jerk for being angry at my boyfriend for sharing his sleeping bag on a camping trip?" And this is from I Don't Know Throwaway Stuff 3. My boyfriend of 2 years went on a camping trip right before the lockdowns and quarantine measures started. He went with 2 girls from his college outdoorsy club that he didn't know very well and who I've never met. I'm not going to lie, I wasn't super thrilled about that, but I didn't say anything, 'cause I know that it was just my own insecurities getting to me. On the trip, we didn't talk much, but he did call me once and told me the trip was going well. He came back from the trip, said it was fun, and they just hiked and fished and stuff, and I was glad he had a good time. Yesterday we were cleaning the apartment and reorganizing, and I pulled his sleeping bag from the closet and noticed that there was a small rip in it. A hole maybe like 2 or 3 inches across. I asked if he wanted me to try and fix it. He kind of dismissively said, "Oh, I'll just buy another. I didn't even use it for the trip." And so I asked, "Then how did you sleep?" He looked like a deer caught in headlights and tried to backtrack, but then eventually admitted that he had ended up sharing a bag with one of the other girls. Not one of those fancy double bags either, just a regular one. I'm pretty angry because he got mad at me for sharing a king bed with my gay male friend once, which I apologized for, and we agreed that bed sharing was a boundary for us. We live in a warm area and it wasn't cold that weekend he went, certainly not cold enough to necessitate sharing a bag for body heat like he claims. If his bag was completely destroyed, I would have understood, but in my opinion, it was still usable and not bad enough to break a boundary we had established. And then he lied about it and he hid it from me. Am I overreacting? He says nothing happened, and I guess I believe him, but I still feel like he broke my trust somehow. Or is this not a big deal? Is it normal for camping? Am I a jerk for being angry at him? So Mismatched replies, "Not the jerk. That's 100% not normal for camping. In fact, it's incredibly uncomfortable sleeping in one alone. Just imagine for 2 people. I honestly wouldn't buy his story, and the fact that he hid it is even more shady. I'm sorry, but it sounds like he may have cheated and just got caught." I Don't Know Throwaway Stuff replies, "He says that they only had 1 tent between the 3 of them, so I don't think he would have done something like that with another person still in the tent, but I don't know." Beth from HR replies, "Not the jerk. You said it yourself. He has already established that the bed sharing is a boundary for him, and you agreed. Violation number 1. Then he gets a deer in the headlights look when you question him about his sleeping arrangement, indicating that he didn't intend to tell you about the issue and instead meant to lie and keep it from you. Violation number 2. He is a jerk big time." Hi OP, you are not the jerk, and this isn't normal for camping. It sounds like he got caught in a lie and tried to come up with an excuse to rationalize why he did what he did. Like you said, his sleeping bag wasn't even badly damaged enough to warrant sharing with his female companions. Further, you two had already established a boundary, and he knew full well that what he was doing was violating that boundary. With all that said, you had every right to get angry for him breaking that boundary. He might have had a legitimate excuse if it had been freezing, and sleeping in the ripped one was a risk to his life or health. However, it doesn't seem like that was the case. It seems more like your boyfriend wanted to have his cake and eat it too. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. Consider giving me a like if you thought I did a good job here. Consider giving me a dislike if you thought I did a poor job. Take care, and I'll see you all later.